everyone, Jason Sherman here. In today's episode of Zero to CEO, I have with me Yegor Sak. He's the co-founder of Windscribe. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. And today we're covering how to crush your competition in technology with a small team. I like this because I'm currently in a small team with my startup, and I want to know how to do that. So let's talk a little bit first about your VPN service, Windscribe. I use VPNs. A lot of people in my industry use VPNs. Just tell the people that are listening or watching why they should use a VPN in the first place.
Right. Well, we actually consider ourselves more of a privacy service because, contrary to the popular messaging that you might have seen on every single YouTube channel and all the ads that you will see if you happen to Google for the search term VPN, a VPN alone will not really do much for your privacy. All it does is, changes your IP address. That alone almost does nothing. Right. That's why Windscribe is a VPN service, but there's bells and whistles. There's multiple components to it that work together to actually improve the level of privacy. Right. Because changing IP, okay, cool, you're in a different place, but as you browse around, the browsers will set cookies, which will persist regardless of you using a VPN or not. So you can be easily identified and tracked regardless of you using the VPN. It almost makes no difference.
Does that work if you're using, say, the Brave browser, where it automatically starts blocking all that stuff?
Yeah, so there's privacy-oriented browsers like Brave, and there's a couple of other ones that actually do the tracker blocking directly in the browser. But their aim is to be kind of as transparent as possible. So they do kind of the bare minimum, right? Not to interfere with your browsing experience, but you have to be a bit more aggressive in order to be even the slightest bit more private in terms of your internet activities.
Now, why should people care about blocking and protecting their privacy when they're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Google, and they're just putting their stuff out there for decades now? We've seen the downfall of society because of that. Do people care, and why should they care?
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. If you're going to be using Facebook and the likes of it, again, using a VPN is almost entirely pointless. To improve your level of privacy, you have to change your usage patterns of how you interact with internet services.
How do you do that? What are these usage changes?
Well, first step is to stop using Facebook. Honestly, it provides no value whatsoever anymore, right?
Tell me how you really feel about it.
Yeah, no, honestly, just stop using it. It provides absolutely no value for you. And if you want to talk to people, there's better communication channels that you can talk to. Even honestly, even WhatsApp, which is Facebook owned,
sure.
Just keeping that and only that is still better than using Facebook.
Telegram and Signal.
If you want to be truly private, Signal is the best option because that's actually open. It's an open source software. It's been audited. It's end-to-end encrypted. Telegram is not end-to-end encrypted in many cases, and it is not open source either.
You came to Canada from Belarus because you wanted to try something new. I guess you developed a passion for programming, creating websites, and you were making money smashing consoles and iPods and things like that, which is kind of funny to me. I like that. What got you shifted into a different kind of trajectory of privacy protection, VPNs, and customizable DNS services? What got you into all of this?
Right. Well, I came to Canada when I was 11, so it wasn't really my choice. My parents decided, hey, we should leave this hellhole and come to Canada. And it was a really good move, honestly. I don't know what I would be doing if I was in Belarus, probably serving in the army or be in jail or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. But Windscribe is not my first rodeo, right? I've been doing online stuff, quote unquote, since I was probably 14. The Smashing Project is one of those things. It was not meant to be a thing that generates money. It just happened to make me sell a little bit of cash when I was 16 or 17, but that wasn't the objective. The objective was just to stir some shit up, and
right.
It worked. Right, it got quite a bit of media attention because it was kind of before YouTube, before stunts and all this kind of stuff. It was fairly novel for the time.
Yeah, and any teenager back then, I remember because when I was growing up in that era, and this was way before 2016. I'm talking when the $1 million homepage came out. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I totally
The
do. Yeah.
teenager was selling pixels. So you were like the teenager that was doing this new thing before YouTube, and that kind of is why the media caught on. So you were. It sounds like you were always ahead of your time. You were young. People like those stories. So how did that transfer into the next phase of your development career?
Right. So, I mean, obviously that project served its purpose. It died down. I've learned a lot of skills, building websites, talking to people, promoting the stuff that I was doing with my friends. So, the next logical step is, hey, go try to do something else. So I've done, I mean, probably since then and until now, probably at least 50 other online projects. Obviously, 90%, 95% of them were massive failures and didn't really go anywhere.
That's the
Right.
way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way it is. I mean,
And,
the
and,
main thing.
and you know what? People should know this. You should. Yeah, I want you to continue on this. Why were so many failures?
Because I mean, you come with an idea. It sounds great. Okay, cool. Let's do this, right? You build it. You learn something new things along the way. But most ideas will be a waste of time, right? The trick is not to give up, right? You can fail 10 times in a row, but the 11th time could be a wide success, could be a marginal success. It might not be a success at all. Maybe you'll fail 40 times in a row. But
Thomas Edison, 10,000 times until he got the light bulb right.
yeah, no, it really is like that. Some people do get lucky and their first startup, becomes a billion-dollar company. That also happens, but that is extremely, extremely rare. That cannot
Extremely.
be, yeah, you can't just expect it.
It's probably like 0.0001% of the time.
Yeah, no, like the chances are not great of you becoming a billion-dollar company. Yeah.
So how do you get through the noise and saturation and, with a scrappy startup team succeed and get, in your case, 43 million users?
Right. I mean, the trick is do as much of this stuff as you can yourself. Like I come from a very technical background, so I still write code every once in a while, even now, 6 years later, because I enjoy it. Is it the best use of my time in some cases? It probably isn't, because I should be concentrating a bit more higher level picture, and that is my entire objective for this year, is to eliminate myself as a single point of failure and all the many projects that I still participate in, right, as we scale out the team. So we're about 44 people at this point. I think we've doubled our team since COVID started effectively,
Wow.
and we're still hiring.
Did you see
Uh,
Did you see COVID kind of fueling your business and people wanting your services more?
yeah, initially, yeah, we obviously saw a spike in usage because everyone's at home. People use VPNs for different reasons. Privacy is not the only reason why people use VPNs. Some people just want to watch, Japanese Netflix or something like that. So that is a use case. And hey, when you're locked in at home, you probably want to check out Japanese Netflix. There's a lot of weird stuff there.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That's
uh,
cool. So
yeah,
like you got your team up to 40. You doubled your team, which means that also meant sales probably went through the roof as well during COVID. But it's still a pretty small team compared to the user base that you had. 43 million. It's like a million users per team member.
yeah, no, our ratio is quite high, and I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of why that is the case, I mean, we mostly concentrate on the product. I almost never look at the financials. We mostly concentrate, hey, how can we make this thing the best damn thing? And the only way to do that is to talk to people that actually use the service. Like in the first year of the company's existence, I probably did 80% of all support tickets that were coming in,
Wow.
just by myself, on top of all my other responsibilities. But that was crucial because you talk to actual end users, they tell you what sucks about your product, what they like about your product, and then you can rapidly iterate with that information.
No wonder you drink so much coffee. So it sounds like you were really doing a lot of customer feedback and iteration, which is a lot. Just people listening or watching. Most people don't do this. A lot of entrepreneurs, they think what they know and what they feel as though is best is what they should be doing. When you should be listening to your market and then iterating quickly based on that feedback. How did that work out for you? What kinds of stuff did your customers tell you?
Right. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times we would be like, oh, hey, here's this feature. Okay, here's what it's supposed to do. And we cannot even comprehend any other way of using this other than what we originally envisioned. And we were wrong so many times. You figure, oh, hey, it does this and this, but nobody will possibly want the other thing. And, people do. And yeah, and the only way
and
to know is
and
to,
you
is to talk to them.
and you have to listen to them, right? I mean, you have
Yeah.
to. I mean, if you don't, you're going to die. So, did you do any surveys, or was it mostly just support tickets?
No, it's across the board. Support ticket is not the only thing. I'm very active we have a subreddit, we have a Discord server where thousands of people just hang out. That is a really great place to kind of iterate on your product because you have a lot of very loyal fans hanging out there like all the time. You can speak to them in real time.
It's a community.
Yeah,
You formed a community.
yeah, it's a community, and we actively hire out of our Discord. We actually, in the last
Nice.
year, we hired, two people out of our Discord who were just there helping people out, solving problems, doing free QA for us. And we're like, oh, hey, you're
You're
basically
already
already
doing it.
trade. You're already doing it. Hey, you want some money and then do this full time.
I'm guessing
And
you can even host like bug bounties and like things like that, right?
yeah, no, we have a program. If you report bugs to us, and they're confirmed, we'll pay you money for it, obviously. And we're open sourcing pretty much all our software right now. So
Wow.
more than half our things are already open sourced, and the mobile applications will be open sourced in the
And
very
what's the
near
benefit for
future.
that?
I mean, it's we aim to operate the company in a very transparent manner, right? In terms of how we operate, what the policies are, how many, like, whenever we receive data retention, sorry, not data retention, like data requests from various law enforcement agencies, because people do commit crimes with VPNs. Very few people do, but they still do it,
They do.
right? And as we're a no logging VPN, we don't collect any kind of useful information for us to actually identify individual abusers, right? So whenever we do receive these requests, we obviously cannot act upon them, but we do publish the fact that we do receive these types of requests, and that's actually available on our website. It's a real-time graph of
Wow.
data requests that we receive, as opposed to kind of like end of the year summary as a PDF for marketing purposes that some companies do.
Nice. I like that. And I got to ask because obviously I'm in the tech world and I've used a ton of VPNs and there's so many of them, right? There's just so many of them. And everyone's always saying, well, which one should I use? How did you navigate through all of them to do as well as you did in such a short amount of time with zero capital? My mind is blown. I got to
Yeah.
hear this.
Yeah, and also zero marketing spend.
How
Because
did
unlike,
how did you do that?
I mean, it all pretty
It's
much relates to.
magic.
Well, it's not really magic. It's literally the stuff we already discussed. Build
Yeah.
a good product that you actually use yourself all the time. Some people kind of like think that's what the customer wants, but they don't actively use their own product,
But were you
right?
giving it away for free to people to test out and get feedback, and then they were
Yeah,
telling their friends, and then you started charging for it eventually, or?
yeah. Well, we operate on a freemium model, right? So you can use it for free even right
Ah,
now with some limitations, obviously, right? And if you are happy with what you see, then you can pay. That
got
significantly
it.
it makes it easier it's easier to convince a person to try something for free
It's a
than.
good onboarding.
Yeah,
It's a good onboarding tactic for sure.
yeah.
That's great. So what are your plans for the future? Like now that you're growing and you're doing well, what's your trajectory look like?
All right. Well, we're going to continue scaling Windscribe, but about 2 years ago, we started working on a kind of like a parallel entity called Control D, which offers in some ways similar services to Windscribe. In other ways, it goes beyond the capabilities of what Windscribe can do for certain use cases. And the magic sauce there is it doesn't require any applications, so you don't have to install anything on your computer.
It's web based or like
It,
a
it
web
works.
browser.
It works through DNS, right? DNS
Mm,
is the system that when you ask, hey, Google.com,
right.
Google.com is at an IP address, so it asks a DNS server, where is Google.com, and we give you the answer. But if we're in a position to give you the true answer, we can also give you any kind of answer.
So
So that answer,
are you going
yeah.
through like a website IP address or you're routing through your router or like how, because like DNS, isn't that work through your router?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, you basically update the DNS servers on your router, and then
Okay.
you control your browsing experience through like a web panel
Interesting.
without any
Okay,
applications.
so that's how you do it. Okay, the web panel. That's
That's
what I was
right.
trying to figure out. That's interesting. So that's a separate service that is that freemium as well, open source, or are you selling that this?
No, so that's currently out as a beta for power users. We're kind of building out all the business features right now because we envision it as a business level service,
Okay.
even though it's totally usable by power users right now.
Right.
and that is a paid only service.
Okay.
Where we're not doing a free plan. However, if you don't need granular control, there are free servers available. They don't have all the fancy features that the pay plans obviously has, but if you just want to resolve domains and like block ads, for example, you can totally just set it up on your router, and then your entire network doesn't have any ads, or tracking domains will not resolve. Or you want to block stuff like porn, you can also do it if you have like kids on your network. So those basic features are available without any accounts. But if you want fancy stuff, you got
That sounds a lot better than what I did a couple of years ago. I built a Raspberry Pi DNS blocking server.
Oh, okay. No, you're familiar with Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So this is kind of like
It
a
works,
Raspberry
but,
Pi in the sky.
Yeah, I liked yours better. I think because I turned mine off, it didn't really work great. It doesn't work on mobile devices, only hardwired computers. Does yours work on all network?
Yeah, I imagine you ran Pi-hole on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this works on any device. You can put it on your phone, and it will do the same thing. Like
Nice.
honestly, I've been rocking it on my phone for the last year. In some ways, it made Windscribe obsolete for me for a lot of use cases, especially on mobile devices. But
don't let anybody use it. Don't put yourself out of business.
No, but it does have limitations.
Right,
Like, if you're in Russia or Iran or something like that, where internet is being censored, you have no choice but to use a VPN. Like this will not work.
Well, this is fantastic, man. You have a lot of stuff going on. Congrats on your success. Where can people find out more about what you do, where they can get the service or join your Discord or anything you want to tell the audience?
Everything is on our website, windscribe.com. We maintain a very active and somewhat hilarious Twitter account, which you can also find in the footer of the website. It's unlike most other VPN company Twitter accounts. We make crass jokes and memes and all kinds of other stuff, which a lot of people seem to dig because it's kind of like a very easygoing approach as opposed to drawing, boring corporation that just wants your money.
Yeah. I like it. Memes are always the best way to go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you coming. This was really awesome. And check out windscribe.com, anyone who's interested in VPN or any of his services. And as always, see you in the next episode.